Hi Sid, it's Thatcher calling. My research has not been as fruitful, ironically, as I had hoped. But you know me, no stone left unturned, regardless of the Gila monsters that jump out and bite me in the face. How could this have happened? Why are you laid up in bed when you should be out traversing the country, helping our fellow Americans? Do you remember when you told me about your 50 States, 50 Women project? I was so excited! You and I were sitting in your Grandma Sarah's kitchen that Saturday afternoon, thawing leftovers from my anniversary party the weekend before. Sarah's freezer had been filled with extra food because both my family and Sawyer's family had insisted on flying from the Caribbean with an island feast packed in each of their suitcases. A week after the celebration, barely a dent had been made in the wall of frozen plastic containers. I was heating the callaloo on the stove and the roti in the oven when you announced that you had some good news. The Women's Foundation you work for wanted you to lead a new multimedia project called 50 States, 50 Women. For 1 year, you'd visit every one of the 50 states and every U.S. territory, and at each location, you'd shoot a video interview with a woman leading an organization that helps other women run for public office. The videos would be featured on the Foundation's website, and you'd be managing your own hand-picked team, and I thought that was so cool! Woo woo! Then your face grew sad. I asked what was wrong, and you said you didn't want to bother me with your troubles. I said I wanted to help you for once, especially after you had spent so much time making the anniversary celebration a success. You have always been the one listening to me and giving me advice. Why couldn't I play the big sister this time? You pointed out that in my case, that was technically your mother's role, but you did agree to tell me what the problem was. I turned off the heating implements and plated our meals while you explained the situation. You love the idea of moving forward into this amazing position at your company, but you were concerned about the time and energy needed to crisscross the continent for a year, because this was the year you wanted to become a parent. I decided that a discussion of this magnitude called for dessert. I removed an assortment of plate-sized tots from the refrigerator, placed them on the counter, and asked which flavor you wanted. You didn't have a preference, so I suggested you have the guava berry, since your mother and grandmother had enjoyed slices of it earlier that morning. Also, I didn't like guava berry, which meant more of the other tots for me. You laughed and said, fine. You take the guava berry pie since you wanted to try something new. I told you it was guava berry tot, and I slid the pastries in the warm oven. You continued to describe your baby dilemma, beginning with the biological option. You had 3 companions in rotation, but none of them was committed partner or co-parent material. So, wrangling one of them into natural conception was unlikely. But, if you wanted to adopt a child, that would be an intricate process as well. Even though you did have a solid career and lots of love to share, you wondered how you could possibly accept your demanding dream job and acquire a baby at the same time. As I grasped your grandma's potholders to remove the hot tots, I reminded you that you were only 2 years older than I was. You could start planning now, but you didn't have to become a parent immediately just because you had turned 35. Moreover, this wasn't an either-or situation. You could have both a child and the most amazing career ever. We just had to think about how to make it work. You didn't seem convinced, and you asked if we could think about it while we ate our pie. I said we could think about it while we ate our tart, and you dug into your guava berry while I selected apricot. You wolfed down your slice and asked for another, which I obliged. We sat in near silence for a moment, digesting our fruit-filled dessert. I noticed you were breathing heavily. Then you smiled and said you had come up with a brilliant idea of how to build both your family and your career at the same time because of 50 States, 50 Women. I asked how, and then these red welts appeared on your face and your neck, and you began wheezing. When we arrived at the hospital, you looked like you were getting better, but your mother couldn't believe it because you had never been allergic to anything. And now, I just want you to wake up, Sid. Clearly, that did not work. Okay, then. Check you later, Sid.